Holy bad writing, Batman, have I got a book review for you. This is one of the books of all time, okay? It's up there. It's one of them. So I read The Sleepwalkers by Scarlett Thomas. This is the Waterstones thriller of the month. Thank you to Simon and Schuster for sending me a copy. It's um beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. Something that I need to make clear is that I did not dislike this book because of my fraught relationship with the thriller genre. Yes, I don't read a lot of thrillers. I am not as entertained by them as other people on this platform. Is that why this is a bad book? No. There are much deeper issues. Like, I need to preface this by saying I'm not someone who particularly uses Goodreads, but this book has a Goodreads average of 3.12. So do with that what you will. The craziest part is, for maybe the first 150 pages, I thought, this is solid. Like, I didn't understand all of the criticism. I thought people are being too harsh. Maybe this is getting such low ratings because it's being controversial. It's presenting two characters, Evelyn and Richard, in an unhappy marriage where they're both quite unlikable to the reader at least. So maybe that's why people aren't agreeing with it, because it is so contentious. Mama. I had a big storm coming, okay? The book, in the most bizarre act of self-sabotage, Scarlett Thomas says, what if the book's just not good? You know? Like, what if with a story, we just don't care anymore? Like, what if the flow, the plot, like, I want to sit this writer down to a lunch, like a nice lunch, and just be like, so, what happened? Like, at page 150 plus, like, somewhere in that ballpark, what happened? Some sort of brain-eating parasite. Maybe you just decided you didn't like writing anymore. Like, what happened? What's going on here? I want to get into that mystery. I suppose I'm being quite nebulous, so let me explain, lay down some groundwork, because this writer sure as hell didn't. We have a married couple. They've been married for 1 year. Their honeymoon sort of celebration, whatever, is Crete. It seems to be Crete, if not some Grecian island. And the woman that they've rented the villa from, Isabella, she's being real weird. And there's this immediate conflict between her and the wife, where she can sort of sense that Isabella likes her husband. And there's all these strange rules, like they're supposed to not lock the front gate at night, even though you absolutely would. But Isabella's like, no, it's a safe town, it's a safe town. So there's weird stuff going on like that. And we spend the first 100 pages just with Evelyn. So I can see why people would find that a bit confining. But I found her at least semi-interesting. And then when we get to the husband, he's a real piece of work. Like, there's so much talk about fellatio. Scarlett Thomas has... must have some sort of kink for fellatio, because the amount of time this book goes into fellatio, it was a lot. And then we make like a real hard left into grooming and SA. Why? Don't know. Everyone on this Greek island is fixated with the Sleepwalkers, this couple who stayed on the island, I think presumably in the same villa that the couple are now in, and mysteriously they just like disappeared one night. Like, I couldn't tell if they'd like drowned in a pool or they just were never found again. And everyone's talking about it, except not really. For a book called The Sleepwalkers, we actually don't spend that much time talking about the eponymous Sleepwalkers. It feels almost like a red herring. I just was like, why? Call it something else. And definitely check your trigger warnings, because there's so much talk about like non-consensual consent, and the husband has this creepy fixation on innocence. Like, he keeps talking about how every Tuesday when he knows that Evelyn is at work, he goes to like an escort agency and has like one of their prostitutes, and he has like a gram of cocaine. Like, the book so casually drops all of this very like racy stuff, and it was like, oh, okay. Which I guess like thriller's got a thriller, but it felt very amateurish in its need to get a shock reaction out of us, the reader. I was like, nah, there's not really enough to hold on to here. You're just sort of going for the low hanging fruit, and that's quite tedious, I would say. At this point, we're also about halfway through the book, and it is choppy chopperson, okay? We went from these letters that the husband and wife are writing to one another, and it was like, okay, this structure makes sense, and it's cleanly formatted. Up the wall, gone. No idea what went wrong here. All of a sudden, we've got audio recordings and scripts and all these other like samples and pieces of evidence, and it was like, why? We as the reader have not been introduced to any kind of formal investigation. So presenting the book as a list of evidence, I get that it's supposed to be a mystery and we're uncovering pieces of it over time. Still didn't think it translated well. It was difficult to follow. It was uneven. It was just a lot of why. Like there were moments beyond that where I then couldn't tell who's the narrator at this point. Are we with Evelyn? Are we with Richard? Are we with the Sleepwalker couple? Because they get some narrative as voice as well. No idea why. That's when all of the creepy grooming talk comes into it. Oh, and should we get into the twist ending? Oh, mama. I don't know why See, this is also why I don't have much to do with thrillers, because every thriller writer thinks they're like M. Night Shyamalan and they've got to have some bananas twist at the end to shock the reader. Like, it felt very much like, what's his face? Alex Michaelides, like his books, where it's like, you're doing too much, my love. Like, let's cool it for a second. So, the ending, am I spoiling it? Sure, like, I can't recommend you read this book. I mean, I guess you can if you want to. But the ending, the, like, hired help that was Turkish is secretly gay, and that was a big deal because in Turkey there's, like, stricter rules about being gay, I guess. So he moved to Greece with his boyfriend, but then he was also involved with human trafficking. I'm telling you, man, at this point, I was gone. I was like, oh, this book, the 3.12 is making perfect sense. I felt so bad for ever questioning the good people of Goodreads. I was like, you saw what I could not, okay? Like, I was defending the book for the first third of it. At this point, I said, you have lost me, mother. Like, I am never coming to your work again because, like, what? How could so many people have approved this? So many people said, oh, yes, this is a coherent story that makes sense and has a satisfying ending. This story has a payoff. Payoff? Mama, bankruptcy. There was no payoff. We're led to believe that Richard, the despicable husband, has been murdered, question mark, or at least has gone missing at the hands of the people who run the villa, like Isabella and the closet, we're not gay, but we secretly are gay men. And then Isabella is worried that her life is in danger because they have secret recordings. Oh, I don't know, it doesn't even matter. She goes to New Zealand? Why? She goes to New Zealand to, like, escape because she's on the run, because thriller, I don't know. And the book ends with her just being like, oh, I hope I'm going to be okay. And then, like, it ends on an open sentence to, like, imply that she's not okay and they found her. And I was like, oh, go to hell, book. Go to hell. Like, I had it at that point. I said, no. So do I recommend The Sleepwalkers? Maybe if you wanted, like, an exercise in how not to pace, format, structure, just write in general a book. Like, I could see that being an option. But if we're reading this seriously for entertainment purposes, no. Not on your Nelly.